Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we bring you the finest singer-songwriters in the Valley area. This week's special guest is returning from approximately 50 episodes ago, Mr. Sean Rox.
Good to see you again, man.
Good to see you too, man. Glad to have you back. So tell me about yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in San Angelo, Texas, a little West Texas town. And very quickly we moved off to California and then off to Japan.
Nice.
So,
what was your age range in Japan?
6 weeks. Apparently at that time you had to be 6 weeks old. I was an Air Force brat. So my dad was going to intelligence school, Goodfellow Air Force Base. And it was Vietnam time. So everybody had to head toward Japan, Okinawa, Taiwan, those whole places. So we immediately moved over there. So the first 3 years of my life, I grew up in Japan and Okinawa.
Now, do you have, I know it's a really, really early age, do you have any kind of recollection of life in Japan?
Very little, but what I can say, by being in the Air Force and around that time, there was a lot of Asian influence. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my friends' parents were, maybe a Japanese or a Korean mother and an Air Force. Oh yeah. From America. So being around that. Later on, I ended up living in Hawaii, around Japanese culture again. So it's a mix of probably West Texas and Georgia, because that's where my dad's from originally, and Asian influences.
Nice. So, kind of brings me to my next question, which is already half answered. We're ahead of the schedule. What did your parents do? Now, your dad was military.
Yeah, he was I guess you would say electronic espionage. Nice. So electronic warfare is what he did. A lot of
I'm jealous.
Yeah. So I grew up around high technology. Mm-hmm. I got to experience the internet very early.
Wow.
Couldn't fully grasp exactly what it was, but I knew the computers were connected. This was very early. And more or less, wherever we moved, whatever base we went to around the world, usually I couldn't go where my dad worked.
Right, yeah.
So,
what did your mom do?
My mom stayed at home for a while, and then she was a preschool teacher for 4-year-olds. So she did that while my dad was in the Air Force.
Very cool. Now, were your parents musical at all?
My parents loved music. Mm-hmm. We did not have music instruments really in our house. I had an older brother, and he kind of had guitar and played a little bit more. Music in our house was about listening. Mm-hmm. My mom liked to dance, so dance around the house or whatever. But there was not music making, and I think that's a distinction in my life. As I got older, the more and more I got into music, I started making music, and that's a whole different perspective.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I definitely have. I had my record collection, my tape collection, my favorite radio stations everywhere that I went. And I got to experience a lot of different radio stations.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
That's the first thing you can do when you move to a new place, whether, Montana, Nebraska, Hawaii, West Texas, England, Arizona, Florida. It doesn't matter where you go. You can pick up your radio, and you can still do this today, and just scan through the stations and just see what's going on. And sometimes you'll find things that you like. Sometimes you're like, oh wow, that's so 10 years ago. But tastes change from radio station to radio station. Yeah. So, but I had my favorite radio station or DJs or and everything like that. So very early on, music was something to be listened to on a record player.
Yes.
Or on the radio. It was not something where a bunch of people were going to get together with guitars and play in the house. I have that life today, and for my family, and it's a nice change to know the difference.
So going back a little bit, what your parents listened to? There's a lot of music listening in your house. What sorts of things did y'all listen to?
Well, my dad was really into Western music, and when I say Western music, we're talking about Marty Robbins. I know that's one of your favorites, but also my dad he was a technology guy, right? Mm-hmm. So he was working on radars in 1963.
Yeah.
People didn't even know what radar was, really, and so he likes technique. So the Ventures, which is a surf guitar band, I listened to a lot of surf guitar growing up. I don't know if that influence has come through or what. Let people decide on my music. But he liked that. My mom liked disco when I was growing up. I remember that. My dad was like turning on the country and western station, but they both shared, because they grew up during that period of time, the golden oldies. Right. So I listened to a lot of those, and some of the golden oldies that got in there were really cool, and I always was a fan of Johnny Cash because it sounded cool. So, and that would be wrapped in with all the other, doo-wop songs. Yeah. But they stood out because they were real, and they were real sounds from real people.
Right, yes.
So I would say probably Johnny Cash and Marty Robbins, and
I like this guy.
and then eventually, when it came time to choose my own music, this is about the time that FM was really coming on strong. Right. Okay, before that, if anybody knows, most car stereos only had AM radio,
one speaker,
with one mono speaker in the dashboard. But what people might not know, if they weren't around then, in those ancient days, when FM came, all of a sudden everybody had two speakers because it could be stereo.
Right.
You could have some sound over here and some sound over here. And some would say that rock music in cities probably made FM happen because the technology was around from the 20s.
Yeah.
They just did not implement it because they were like AM. Rock music came around and they wouldn't let it over there, and it didn't sound very good on AM. So all of a sudden FM, but FM rock stations were coming in. I was living in Hawaii at the time. Mm-hmm. And so we listened to, I think it was 98 Rock. I want to say 98 Rock or Rock 98, one of the two. But my brother and I, we would listen to that. So all of a sudden I went from Johnny Cash to Molly Hatchet and AC/DC. So that's the transition. And that brings you up till I was 10 years old with REO Speedwagon.
Nice. So now moving forward a little bit, before we go into hear one of Sean's songs, what made you want to play music? What made you pick up?
I always sang. I was always a singer, and I sang other people's songs, obviously. And I was in a couple bands, and maybe we can flash up a couple pictures of back in the early days. But there was something I wanted to sing my own songs. Mm-hmm. I was a fan of things that just punched, real punchy music, but that had some soul to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So early influences for me would probably be Otis Redding. I just love the way that, and Sam Cooke, just the way that sound. But what if you could do that, but you could still have that punch from Molly Hatchet and the beautiful sounds from the Allman Brothers, So I had those influences as well, not living in Georgia and not living in the South, really. Texas, has a problem calling itself part of the South sometimes. But so I got into Capricorn Record sound real early. I had an uncle that worked there. Mm-hmm. So in addition to my Ventures records and my Johnny Cash records, were every Allman Brother, every Leonard Skinner ever made, Wet Willie, Doc Watson, all of those sounds. Mm-hmm. These are the acoustic sounds. So when it was time for me to do music on my own, pick up the guitar, teach myself, and write my own songs, naturally I went to the acoustic guitar.
Nice. Let's check out some acoustic guitar played by Mr. Sean Rox. We'll be right back after this.
This song is called Southern Zen, and it's a song I wrote for my son before he was born, about coming into this world and all the things that he might encounter, and my curiosity of how it's so different from where he has been. This is Southern Zen.
One more minute to go, one more minute till, one more minute to go, one more minute till you sign, till you see me. One more minute to go, one more minute till, one more minute to go, one more minute till you feel different in the air, feel to breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Our families become. Come on and raise your hands. If you're living, if you're loving, if you're feeling southern sand. Curiosity will lead you where you'll be, through forbidden and forgiven, babe. One more minute to go, one more minute to, one more minute to go, one more minute till you see. So tell me about the things that you see, how different did the air feel to breathe. Families become. Come on and raise your hands. If you're living, if you're loving, if you're feeling southern sand.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Sean Rox. So Sean, now you are a man of many talents. So you've got all kinds of things going on. I'd like to go back a little bit, and as far as your music is concerned, what inspires you to write?
Events in our lives. You know, I think last time I was on the show, talked about my son and how we just come up with silly songs in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. That still continues today. Only what's cool about it is he's 4 now. He tells me the songs.
Nice.
So the evolution in it is I can even do, I think the last time I was on here I did Who's Gonna Make the Milk song. Now all I have to do is go and now he'll do the lyrics for it, which is crazy, right? Yeah. Because you're just like feeding this little baby these songs right here, and he's like, ah. And now he's like, who's gonna make the milk? Cow gonna drink the milk? So, I mean, I'm sure this will continue to be a story of making music with him. Recently, a lot of the music I've been writing, I guess composing, has been short on lyrics, and it's more about sound and just getting the vibe. So maybe some instrumental stuff. Maybe I'll be able to do something cool. that maybe we can zoom in on or something like that. And,
nice.
Just creating a cool landscape to think on, I guess. Of course, most of my songs are kind of folky, and they usually have a message to them. But that's what's happening right now as far as my writing, I guess.
And going back slightly farther, what actually brought you to Columbus, Georgia?
I came to Columbus, Georgia in January 2005 to help promote the building of the Loft Recording Studio on Broadway in Columbus, Georgia. As part of the team that came down to do that, while they were building, we documented it, took pictures, got the PR out there. We ended up getting the Loft Recording Studio listed as one of the best studios of 2006, I think. And that was a 2-year gig, working on that, building their graphics that they still use today, securing the loft.com, and now they're doing whatever they're doing now, and I moved on, and now I have Sean Rox Webworks.
Yeah, now tell me something about that.
That is my business, and I have always built websites since the beginning of the web, really. My first love is doing album artwork. That's where I started.
Nice.
And I got a degree in video engineering.
Cool.
So I was on the back side of those cameras. This is a little unusual still to be on this side of the cameras. Hey, Rusty. Rusty knows what I'm talking about, too. So now I'm over here, and I help make media for business and for and to promote anything. So from album art to e-commerce, really.
Nice.
I've worked with a lot of bands. Some bands you may have heard of, but really it's about connecting the music with a visual. So whether I'm working with your projects, which I think we're going to try to do something together, it's making. I believe that album artwork is so important because it can set the taste in place for what you're about to experience. And if as an artist, if I can create a visual that makes you excited about your own music, then that is a good point to start, because now all of a sudden you have a renewed, as a songwriter, as an artist, as a recording artist, you now have something else to go, look what Sean did.
Yeah.
It's not about Sean, but look what Sean did. I'm like, look what Brian did. And then somebody else is going, I like that. I might want to listen to it.
Yeah.
So it's just that relationship, because music is elusive sometimes. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to experience. It's because probably the artwork isn't solid enough.
Right.
So hopefully I answered your question. But Sean Rox Webworks, and so I've come merging my music and visual communication together. I work with small business, mid-sized business on getting their e-commerce in place, getting their social media. Seems like everybody's in social media today. I think it's a little piece of the greater whole of what's going on, whether you have a business or you're an artist.
Right.
So I try to help people do that, and that's how I make my living.
Very, very cool. Now, you've also we're gonna do we have a whole section for pimping stuff, but I understand that you are involved in a project. We got some papers here on the table, a bunch of junk.
It's the junk. It's all that junk.
What's this about?
Okay. Well, what Junk Fest is it's a festival coming up Saturday, September 8th, and I'm very excited about this. And should I hold this up? Or?
Yeah, we can flash it.
And you'll have the graphics as well. So as you can see, that's Junk Fest. It's a folk art and music event, and it'll be here in Columbus, Georgia. And the theme is peace, love, and barbecue and recycling.
Nice.
So I've done a lot of graphics, done a lot of communication, visual communications for other music festivals, including Frogtown a few years ago. In fact, the logo is something that I did for that. And that's doing a certain thing now. It's providing a certain type of music, certain type of experience. The opportunity that we have, even with social media, is to give people an experience.
Right.
So, and music was probably one of the original ones of those. It's going, what would happen if you walked into a barn and there was a band playing? It would be different than going to the Riverside and seeing a rock band do cover songs that you've already heard. What I'm saying is, what if I took you to a pasture behind a junk shop?
Nice. I'd totally dig it.
What if there was barbecue? What if it was gourmet barbecue, not to scare anybody, but what if there was some grits and some root beer tainted barbecue?
Interesting.
With some coffee that's roasted locally.
Yeah. Iced
coffee, because it's September. It's probably going to be a little warm out there. What if we were to have all of these things? What if we were to celebrate craftsmanship? What if somebody was to be there and help you understand how to take care of your guitar?
Right.
what if there were people there that spend all their time making jewelry or making clothing? I think you're going to be amazed at what might show up. I'm going to be amazed at what might show up. But we're kind of putting it out there that this will be the first ever art music festival to celebrate craftsmanship, folk art, recycling, suburban farming. A lot of people are farming right now.
Right, yeah.
Now, when I say farming, I mean gardening, you know.
Yeah.
But people are taking an interest now at a younger age right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk to a 21-year-old, it is not outside of their idea of having a little garden for themselves. Yeah. So we're kind of approaching from there, and we're going to be using solar power for a few things out there. We're trying to do things just a little different.
Very, very cool.
So this is Junk Fest, Saturday, September 8th. It'll be behind Gina's Junk on Buena Vista Road. So, and that's be where you can buy tickets. Also at junkfestival.com, and that's coming out very soon.
Very cool. Go to one more Sean songs. We'll come back and we'll pimp stuff. Hello and welcome back to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. Special guest, Mr. Sean Rox.
Junk Fest.
It looks like you're going to have some yoga there.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing something a little different at noon. on this day, we're going to have the folks from Art of Yoga. Tammy from the Art of Yoga is going to be down there at the festival over on Buena Vista Road in Columbus, Georgia, behind Gina's Junk. And we're going to kick off the whole thing with yoga and have this special, very scenic area set up just for yoga. So if you've never done yoga, this would be a great time for you to come down, and that'll start at noon. From there, other activities that'll happen there, aside from the music, which I want to tell you about the lineup, it's going to be very cool. We're going to have folk art. We'll have Ralphabets and some other folk artists from around the Southeast.
Nice.
We wanted this to just be a very special day for everybody to come together and kind of share ideas. Mm-hmm. Other things we have here, we're going to have it so that you can paint. We're hoping to plant a tree. Mm-hmm. So we are looking for a sponsor, maybe from an orchard or something like that. Maybe put some peach trees in there and just kind of get it in the minds. Maybe bring some other organizations involved, that you can not only eat fruit from trees, but you can plant one too, and we're gonna show that can be possible. So we would do a garden. We had the idea of doing a garden, but September's not really the good time to plant a garden. So we might find another event to do that, or just have everybody come together and just do that on an off day. Over the summer, we will be having some volunteer days, and hopefully you'll come out. We have a barn to paint.
Nice.
So. And we're told that we can paint it any color that we want, so you can see our color scheme.
Cool.
So we're going to be doing that. So if you are interested in volunteering, if you have a business that would like to sponsor, or you just want to be involved, or you want to know more, we are looking for right now companies or businesses in the local area that could help us with some gates. We have 2 gates that we need to put in this property. It's an old hog farm, so it's very, very fertile.
Right.
And in fact, on the land right now that we're using, there's a giant pecan tree. There are 2 pear trees. There's muscadine, persimmon, blackberries. So what you're looking at is you're actually looking at what Georgia used to be. So it may be a little snapshot, and maybe we can instill in people's minds that yes, you can also put a blackberry bush. Yes, you can have fruit in your on your property. Yeah. Doesn't matter how small your house may be. I mean,
this is a very worthwhile thing. This is definitely come out and check this out, because this really is awesome.
This is the most organic thing that we can think of, and so it's approaching it from a sponsorship, because it takes money to put something on like this. We will have tickets that are well worth the price for just the entertainment alone, and on the bill, which I guess I should tell you, which means music schedule, we have the Bibb City Ramblers, who have been touring with their new album Mountain Air, and Jenny Woolfolk, Davidson, and Wildman Steve are now in that band, along with Dan Davidson and Brian Fowler, Egatoid. And in addition to them, we're looking, and now we have confirmed Donna Hopkins, who's a blues guitar player out of Atlanta, absolutely beautiful human being, and she's really awesome. Mm-hmm. She really is. So she'll be there, and I'm going to keep mum about some other things, but it's going to be a heck of a day for music, and we just want everybody to get involved. Go out to Gina's Junk, buy your tickets in advance on junkfestival.com. We are also going to have tickets for sale through you can buy through PayPal. Idea is to buy early and get your tickets. That way, it'll help us kind of put it on. We are looking for natural medicine sponsors, chiropractors, natural health supplies, and there's any acupuncture out there. I mean, we are really we're going in a different direction with this, and be as organic as we can be. And we're just looking forward to doing this. So if you're interested in barbecue and gardening and things that are well crafted, maybe even some construction. We want to kind of get into that personal construction. I know there's a thing out there where people are building stuff out of wood and pallets and stuff like that. So we're hoping to just kind of go there if we can find some topics, and check us out on Facebook. That's what the biggest thing I'd say, and that's facebook.com /Junk Festival. And that's how you can get a hold of us on there. And go ahead and like us. You can see the activity on there. We're always putting cool videos and pictures on there. I think the last one I put on there was a rake with a bunch of hot dogs.
Oh, I saw that.
So that's the sort of if you like cool content and you kind of like a rustic or rural life, which I think all of us do down here. This is not about IKEA at all. This is the anti-IKEA Junk Fest.
Definitely come and check this out, because usually for something like what he's describing, you have to take a day trip and drive 50 miles to experience something like this.
Or further.
So this is something right here, or right across the river in Columbus from where we are, but in the valley area that you can drive 15, 20 minutes, through traffic, and you're there. And which brings me to a very important thing. What is the price of the ticket?
Price of the ticket right now is $15.
Okay.
So we're going to be bringing in people from outside. You know how much gas costs now.
Yeah.
For them. So exactly what you had said. We are bringing this to Columbus.
Yeah.
So we have to import some of these parts and everything like that. But we're going to be at Gina's Junk, and it'll be in the pasture behind on Saturday, September 8th, Junk Fest. Check it out at junkfestival.com. The tickets will be there, or you can go to Gina's Junk, which is 6020 Buena Vista Road. If you don't want to go out Buena Vista Road, you can come from Chautauqua and just follow it around. In fact, we're going to do a song. I think Dan Davidson has a song called Chautauqua
He
Road.
does.
So we're going to strip some of the other lyrics out of it and make it. That's how you get to Junk Fest, from Chautauqua Road. So.
Okay, before we check out another of your songs and the exit of the show, let's promo everything that we can here. What is your personal web? What are your websites? Your Facebook? If you have.
Well, SeanRox.com is the center of the earth for me. That's where everything happens, and then from there, anything I do with media is Sean Rox Webworks.
Okay.
And then we have Junk Festival. There's a lot, but those really are the main three right there. Mm-hmm. Dealing with those, and from there you can find the other information. As far as my music goes, that is on Facebook mostly right now, and that's facebook.com /Sean Rox Music. SEANROX Music. Not .com. Did I put .com on it again? Okay, good. Facebook.com /Sean Rox Music. So that's where my music is, and that's where you can find out more, and I'll have some stuff on iTunes pretty soon.
And where can they get your album?
My album is sold out, so it'll be digital only. So that's what we're looking at. So it'll probably be out there as singles. All the songs that are going to go up there right now were from my album. It's not here still. No, it's sold out. It was called Eagle Scout Digest. And it was 7 songs of sordid tales of confusion and persistence and all of that. But there is more music coming. I'm working with Stan Edwards,
nice,
and John Phillips, and to tell you the truth, the Bibb City Ramblers in general, as people, to work on the next project, something far more groovy, I think.
Nice, excellent. You want a copy of any of his songs, you can hit him up on Facebook, or hit me up and I'll hook you up with him on Facebook. Till next time, I'm Brian Mallard from Minstrels on the Block. This has been Sean Rox, only on CTV EA. See you next time.
Love it, well, you my girl, and well, love the way we sway every night and every night.